Okay, we're now in East Dallas, about 15, 20 miles away from my house. And let's see how the bees did in transport. Okay. I'm seeing, I saw one bee, looked to be on the outside, maybe. Maybe the inside, I can't tell. Probably the inside. On the inside of the screen, not the outside. But, we're sealed up very well, actually. Did a great job. And I can't emphasize how important it is to have the right, yeah, it's actually on the outside. It may have been hanging out on the outside the entire trip. Or maybe it got out on its own, it's hard to say. But I need to emphasize how important it is to have the right size screen before you start out. Or else you're going to have a problem. If there's just the littlest gap, you'll have hundreds and hundreds, if not, potentially thousands of bees coming out. So that's the key part. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in this wagon and get it back to our spot. Then we'll be set up and we'll continue on from there. Now I have the hive in place. There it is, all calm and quiet. No bees really around it. Here's the other hive that's been here for a number of weeks now. These are sister hives. The queens in these hives are related. And as far as I can tell, this hive is doing well. Been told the activity is nice. I haven't opened it up in a while, and it's getting late in the evening, and I really don't have time to go in right now. So I'm going to defer that to another time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the screen. If I lived at this house, which I do not, very nice yard by the way. Really wish I had a yard this large. If I lived at this house, maybe I'd leave the screen on overnight. They get ventilation through the screen. They're not going to overheat, or not likely to overheat, especially overnight. And maybe that would help with orientation. Different people have different theories about having the bees reorient. Like you read on the internet about people putting leaves or twigs there in the opening so that the bees come out of the hive and say, oh, what's this new stuff here? Maybe I'm in a new place, and they reorient. It makes them realize they're in a different place. I don't think I'm going to bother with that on the theory that, one, it might be an old wives' tale, and two, I just don't care if I lose a few bees. Not with this hive anyway. So what I'm going to do that's a little bit different, normally I wouldn't do this, I'm going to take the top off as well. And I'm going to put that queen excluder on top. And that's the grate that you see on top there. That grate theoretically prevents the queen from passing through up into this super, which I'm going to place on top of this deep super. So this super, which has foundation, so it doesn't have comb, it just has the foundation that the bees will make the comb on. I'll put that on top, it'll give them room to expand, but I'm going to put this queen excluder in between, which will not allow the queen to go up and will not allow the queen to lay eggs. And so only honey, really, no brood can be in the top super, generally only honey. It'd be unlikely for them to place pollen where there isn't brood. So I don't know what the bees are going to do. Will it be calm and quiet when I pull this up? Will there be a few bees that come out? Will there be 1,000 bees come out? I just don't know, but let's see, and let's do it and see what happens here. Calm bees over here, nothing going on over here. Let's pull this screen out. Okay. Number of bees, not particularly happy, but not exactly like the cartoons either, where you see a stream of bees coming out at you. So they're not thrilled about this, as you might understand. They'll calm down. It might take a day or two for them to calm down. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and get this other stuff on as quickly as I can without disrupting the bees, and then get on my way and let the bees settle in to their new environment here in the east side of Dallas. So here we go. So there we go, all done. We have our original deep brood box there, and the unpainted wood right here is that's the queen excluder. Wow, I'm not even able to think tonight. and our empty medium super on top with frames and foundation that they'll hopefully build into comb and honey is there on top. So effectively, that queen excluder will limit the size of this hive in terms of brood production. So it's not going to become a ginormous hive, and I'll know where the queen is. The queen will be in that box. And I've actually made the mistake before of placing a queen excluder and thinking that the queen was below the excluder and was actually above the excluder. And that set my first hive back by several months, I think. That was a big mistake. So I've learned, and I've made another mistake with the queen excluder as well, leaving it on over the winter, not allowing the queen to move up in the hive. So I've had my share of mistakes using the queen excluder, but hopefully I've done it correctly this time and will serve the purposes that I have here. So I only have one other hive that has a queen excluder on it, and I might pick up a couple more, but it's not really a priority. For the most part, the top supers will have the honey, and the bottom supers will have the brood, and it's not really a problem. And some people theorize that the queen excluder actually decreases production in the hive. So we'll see how these hives do. We'll keep track of them. Of course, when the hives are further away from you, they're harder to maintain, harder to get to. It's less convenient. But one cool part about this is that I'll be able to teach some friends how to keep bees, and they're planning to have their own hive as well out here. So probably in the not too distant future there'll be 3 hives over here in their backyard. So that's about it. It's time to get back home to my family. I'm back home. One last thing I want to do, I want to see what the bees are doing back in the old location. Of course, it's dark out here. I have a light on, and when we left here there were a lot of bees hovering around the old location. So I expected to see a few bees clustered right around here on this or around this, but I don't see any. So we certainly know there are a lot of bees. How many, it's hard to say, hundreds maybe, that were left behind. My guess is that they have now gone in and around this hive next to it. So there's one thing I did not mention so far in this video, which is way too long already, but bees do not come and fly out at you at night when it's dark, when they're upset. They come streaming out and crawling all over you if they can. And you can imagine, if you're not properly clothed, that having bees crawling all over you, stinging you, is a nightmare. So, and all it takes is one little opening when you're moving a hive, so you got to be really careful about making sure you're protected in case the bees get out when you are transporting them, holding them, carrying them, moving them, contacting them at night. So bees are not happy campers at night. That's why beekeepers don't inspect hives at night. Not to mention it's hard to see things at night. So there we have it. A beehive that's been successfully moved. And our 4 remaining hives over here. Happy campers. And we'll continue on with these things later.